All right, let's see. I think I should be set. Hey, Nardi, good to see you. How many times have you played this game, old man? Too many. Loki lore incest supporter all day, every day. Especially when it's twincest. Hey, I am. Good to see ya. Kids, we caught them having a moment. We got them in some compromising positions. You know, I hear about the gay orgies in the Catholic Church, but got nothing on these sex parties. So, in order to get the shots that I need, we're gonna have to enter through here. Hell no, bro! Listen! They do it all on their own. This isn't me. I just control the camera. I think that makes me the most legally liable. Alright. Oh god, that works so well. It really shouldn't work as well as it does. Alright, get me over here. They were too into these eat parties. Aldrich's like, you have to eat yourself from the dick. That is where the devouring comes from. It's like, I want you to do the D. And they start bending over. He's like, no, no, I meant the devour. Devour. There's deep oil on them. Jeez, you can make so many D jokes. Deep, devour, deacon. God, it works too well. Actually, let's remove the FOV. I think that'll be better if they use force and stuff. Yep. I almost had it. I had the right idea. Come on, do it. Come on, do it, fatso. Oh, he had to do the stupid fire right then, huh? Oh, oops. I think only the fatties do force or Wrath of the Gods, right? Oh, of course he left. A little late there. Let's get out of my way. Yep. You won't make this hard. And not in that way. We're going to see a fireside court reporting Rosario accusing Aldrich of heinous crimes against her in the sacrifice. So true. All right. Of course. Isn't that like the Black Knight sound effect? All right, that's it. I'm on a mission. We have to call the herd. I need to upgrade this weapon, clearly. All right. Come on, sir. Do it. Sir, do it. Sir. Come on, sir. Do it. Sir, do it. Oh, my God. Sir, I'm making this. This is the easiest layup of your career. It sounds like Black Knight Death. I thought so. All right. Go on, do it. Go on, do it. Sir! Sir! Sir, I can only kill these things so fast. What music am I listening to? This is from another small channel. Specifically, it is Forgotten Soul. Powerful female vocal, dark fantasy, dark ambient music, bloody mystic. 1 second. I'm gonna give myself infinite stamina. Because clearly we need it. I give myself invulnerability in advance in case I control Royce or something. I don't even know what controlling Royce is going to be like. What we're investigating this time, not really investigating, just want to get shots of different stuff. I was looking through seeing what enemies we haven't touched yet. Deacons are definitely one of those. We got Wrath of the Gods deacons with the blue robes. We got these forest deacons, things like that. Infinite stamina. It's a beautiful thing. I suppose not all of them have the candlestick. All right. Give everything you could possibly want. Oh, damn it. I had to go for the attack right there. All right, do it again. We only need one baddie. Oh, now we have 0. Don't worry. I have to eventually bring in the more fatzos. By the way, today's stream title reads nonsensical, so I couldn't make a joke. I put that on Loki. What do you mean? I thought it was my funniest one yet. I don't see fatzos. There's a distinct lack of fat in my deacons. Not very diverse of you guys. Where are they? We gotta catch these guys in the act. I mean, one of them's gotta appear here, right? Damn. I don't see Fatsos! Loki, Ultrich was eating them. Ah. Hey, Nick. See, Nick gets the joke. Not sure if everyone gets the reference. It's still on me somehow. It's always my fault, It's always my fault. Just remember, chat, everything bad that happens to you, it's all on me. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I don't know your address. Somehow it's my fault. I get the feeling it's gonna show up here, right? Come on. Come on. Nope. Oh. Uh-huh. I mean, this is just embarrassing. Oh, now they're starting to show up. Don't worry, they're going to show up here. I promise. Get out! Get out of... Ah! You assholes! It's like Abyss Watchers all over again. Getting the shots is just so annoying. There's so many AIs to keep track of. All right, come on. Do it here. Do it right here at my feet. Of course, you're doing the middle. Oh! Oh! So he does this little pose thing. Where the hell did all these guys come from? Oh, now the Fatsos are spawning in. Yeah, I get you, Nardi. Life keeping you busy, I'm sure. All right, come on. Come on. Damn. Getting these shots. It's something. Oh. Well, we lost the blue. Can we at least get you to do healing? on. I think I might have got a shot there. Oh, he's doing the curse thing. All right. I didn't get to the screenshot button in time. We're gonna have to rely on the VOD. Sore as fuck after a long session. Loki, can you send me some good vibes through the pewter to soothe me? You did good, Nick. Good boy. Good boy. There. The only way I know how. Oh, sorry. All right, do it. Do it. Do it. Oh. I wonder if this thing has a limit. No? We should probably reset the boss fight. Oh, we lost the blue guy, yeah. It amazes me the screenshots I do have of this boss fight, all things considered. Like a spirit bomb kind of thing, not a mommy special little man SMR. Sorry, it starts just like, oh wow, it does end. Does it? Okay, it kind of ends. It ends when they are about to start the new one. Dog was like, what the hell are you doing not comforting me during this storm? I'm sorry, buddy. Here, 1 second. 1 second, doggo, while I reset everything on this side. Ay, ay, ay. Over there. Yeah, over there. Oh, yeah, over there. Wait, why the hell is it Cemetery of Ash? The hell? You're not getting back to your coffin, asshole. Throw yourself back in there. I don't care if you get cursed. Look at be referred to as the mommy in this situation is the funniest shit ever. Mommy's home, boys! You doing another gay orgy disappointing your mom, Pa? Ay, what am I gonna do with all of you? This isn't why we want you to go into the service. This isn't what the ministry is for. All right, off the dicks. Oh, wait. Right. Character flags. Right. Right. Maybe could make something work out of that. Come on, do it. Do it. No! All right, baddies. I know what they say. Stick together, all that jazz. Could you, like, separate a little? You're kind of getting in the way of my shot. You're so big. I don't remember that thing. I really don't. Oh, both died. Right? All right, one of them has to spawn here now, right? Like, that's gotta happen, right? Come on. Come on. You do it. Come to Papa. Or I guess come to Mama. Whatever you do, whatever I gotta do. Why you gotta break it? Oh, of course you do it right when the guys are. You guys are the worst. Really? All right, I think that's a good enough shot. I can crop some of that. I just want some Aqua Ruby fan art. I was just in the mood. I was like, let's see what beautiful artwork is out there. One of my favorite pairs. That was all. Is the inscription stream? Unfortunately, I just have terrible memory, Nick. If I don't see you guys every day, I'm gonna forget who you are. I'm amazed I was able to remember Xavier when he came back. His Discord kittens are vagrants. Discord kittens is a word, I suppose. I'm pretty sure we killed this guy. Oh, I'm like, it feels weird again. Oh, right. I need to put the stamina back on. There we go. No stamina consumption! Oh! What's this? A fatty? Come on, fatty, do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Dude, I'm literally in your face. I swear, this guy has no sense of self-preservation. Oh, now you do it. Like, Axel, just do it when no one else is around. I'm not asking for much. All right, I think we're out of the fatties. Completely dumped Dandy and Leland. Listen, I didn't say they were my favorite. I just said that they were a favorite. All right, if I don't see any more. I don't see any more fatsos. Uh-huh. You remember me, asshole? Who are you again? All right. Listen, that doesn't count, I am, and you know it. That's a childhood friend relationship if I'd ever seen one. Like that. I swear it's like cutting trees. There we go. Hot take here, but incest is bad. Oh God, God, that's a pretty hot take, Nick. I don't know. We might have to cancel you for that one. They're both called right. Ah! They did. Yeah. You got in the way. Oh, whoops. Whoops. I didn't mean to. It's not my fault. You worry when I kept asking Loki to uwu for the chat. All right. Will this kill me? Nope. Damn. Wait, I gotta. I know how to do this. Don't worry. There we go. Yep, there we go. Eventually I'll die. Easy solved. Oh, I should probably revive the boss too while we're at it. Mm-hmm. There we go. All right. Let us what? One more time. Damn, Holder's had a nice view. Yeah. From under the stove. Great getting buried. Yeah. All right, so let's do this in advance this time. Let's see. All right. Invisibility. No stamina. All right. All right, there we go. All right. All right, before the free cam gets used, let's see if we can just get a... Damn, it's really hard to get a shot of that stupid thing coming in when you got the, you've got the, what's it called? The fog wall that can cause weirdness. All right. No, Bray, are you still in the chat? I actually had a question for you about audio stuff. Come on, do it. Sir, it's literally just you and me. You can do it. Come on. Oh my... Come on, hurry. Oh. This asshole, man. Like, I'm not asking for much here. Like, I don't get why it's so hard for your AI to do this. Come on, do it. Come on. Like, seriously. Oh, now you do it. They do this specifically to piss me off. Them using Black Knight dying stream like that is intentional, right? I mean, I'm sure it's intentional in that it comes from the same sound library and stuff. That they get all their other stuff. I don't think they accidentally pulled it up by chance. In terms of, is there a Black Knight connection? I would say no. There's nothing really, lore-wise, really connect them, or even thematically, like there is with the Iron King Knights and the Black Knights there. Yeah, we're not getting this, so... There we go. LOL. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay, cool. All right. Where is it? All right. Wait! You... I... The fuck? All right, you. Wait. Yeah, it's definitely you. Wait, did I lose one? Huh? Yeah, it's definitely you. I'm locked on. What do you mean? What? All right. I am very clearly locked onto you. There we go. Oh. I almost forgot. Invincibility. Alright, there we go. Now we don't have to... Alright, asshole. Holy hell, you are slow. Like, God. You are... slow. Howdy, Xavier. If this thing has a time limit, then I think I can just wait it out and we'll be fine. I think. I don't know, because it could be an effect like it's like, oh, until the next time he casts it, at which point, yeah, we're too late then for sure. Yeah, nothing really. I'm like, oh God, I gotta get a shot at you. I mean, mostly his attacks I'd want, which you already got a lot of, so. Uh-huh. So like this will work. All right. Did you summon me from my Brazilian abyss? I didn't know, but I wanted to ask you, how viable do you think it would be to extract the audio files for voices of NPCs and reverse them to see if there's anything, you know, hidden references or something? Because, like, there seems to be a common thing with From Software where they'll take a sound and they'll just reverse it, and then they'll make that, like, the NPC babble for enemies. So I'm kind of curious how easy it is to get those files and then check them out. Try to get them to be like, see if we can like crack the code, quote unquote, right? Because you got like DS1, you got like the channelers and how they have good old what's his face, the imprisoned guy from Demon Souls voice lines being reversed. You got, of course, these guys, and apparently they say, you know, he's gonna kill me. That when you reverse their little voice babble, their ambient stuff. All right. All right. There we are. Yeah, I don't see anything I can really get with we have. Like, I'm looking at I see some of the screenshots. I'm just like, yeah, I think we already got, like, probably the best shots we're going to get of this guy. Uh-huh. He's not able to do anything except that animation now. Oh, I think I get why. I think because it's supposed to be he does the follow-up, so he's locked into it. Yeah, I think that's it. I think he was locked into it until, like, the shoot animation was done. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. This just locks him in place for a bit. Oh, he could just throw that whenever. Same thing here. What's circle? Yeah, it's another does nothing. Yeah. All right. I mean, I can extract them. That's easy, but I don't know how to reverse it, Lamau. It's for DS3 only. I mean, I guess you could say all the games would be kind of cool in case, but, like, yeah, let's focus on DS3 if we want to actually do this. But, like, I'm kind of curious. One is, like, do they actually separate them by type so we can know which are technically voice files? So we could actually, like, easily be able to be like, oh, this sounds like gibberish. Whoop. As for reversing it, I don't know. Maybe there's some, like, proprietary software that'll make that easy. I don't know. Maybe something third party. Uh-huh. Is there, like, a difference in size, or? I think. I can't tell. I may be gaslighting myself. It kind of looks like they may be slightly different. Let me see if I shoot at this wall. Maybe slightly larger? I don't know. It looks pretty similar. Yeah, he really doesn't have that much. Uh-huh. Let's get in the middle of this cluster pile. Okay, so they're not, like, divided into folders or anything like that. There's no way to, like, narrow it down so you can more easily find, you can just take out the exact files we're looking for. What's that wailing noise? I don't know. Hey, holy hell, it feels like every time I try to get into this dog pile here. All right, let's go this way. Ow. Reversing audio shouldn't be hard. You think so, I am? I'm calling for Ultras in the Deep, I guess. I suppose. He's calling upon dark powers. Enemy sound effects tend to be the first thing, so they'll be easy to track at least. Okay, that at least helps narrow it down. Yeah, but getting everything else is going to be the hard part. Okay. All right, so this isn't going to work that easily, unfortunately. Maybe if I get the enemy real early, we could, but I think we're fine where we're at. Yeah, let's just return. least it's satisfying to cut through the horde. There you go. Well, he's dead again. Shield reverse any sound editing program. Is it that simple? If so, then yeah, it seems like it is doable. All right, let's look at all the shots we got. See if we how many good ones. Ooh, that's the wrong folder. All right, let's look at what we got here. All right, that's cool. I'm happy with that one. All right, make sure you guys can see it. There we go. All right, so that one looks cool. No. That's like instant delete. The fireball next to it ruins it. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to use the VOD for that one. Okay, that works. That's cool. I feel like they should have added an effect for the other guys. Okay with that. Can't even see it really that well. Yeah, crop that'll be fine. I think the last one we got though at the corner was like really good. Uh-huh. It's okay. Yeah, the problem with Royce, it's really hard to get good shots of everything he's doing because the way his staff works and just the amount of enemy clutter. This would have been really good if that enemy wasn't there, like trying to, like, you know, give him a bear hug. Yeah, look at that. That is awful. Yeah, that looks good. Like I'd probably crop it like a little bit, like this, but like not that much. I don't know which one I like best. It might be this one. This might be the shot. With the Jeb Bush meme. And Aldrich is gonna sweep! Oh, the gods! Yeah, this is fine. You know, just some basic thing in case we want to close up there. Yeah, there's just so much. There's so much clipping. If it was just one of these guys, I think it could work. Yeah. Do I want to go for another run? Ah, why not? First, though. Let's do the revival. There we go. Then we got to kill me, so we don't have to worry about stupid embered form screwing me over. Don't mind me. Just gonna send myself into the abyss. There we go. The shots used for the updated Lothric beginning were amazing. Oh, really? I am. Thanks. I'm glad you liked them. Let me actually look at that for a second. Right. There we go. A little off-center, unfortunately, but we'll live with that. Like these we've had for a while. Nothing crazy there. Can you? Oh, right, because free cam. There we go. There we go. Okay, now back to what I was looking at. Yeah, so like most of these are some of the older ones, right? But I've always been kind of pretty happy with what we got, especially for like Consume King's Garden. These shots, I'd rely on, like, if this was me, I wouldn't have that item there, but this is Zuli who got these shots for me, and like, I'm not gonna lie, pretty damn good being able to, so I'm very happy with those. As for the actual, like, new shots, not new. Like, some of these we got here, like, that one's new. I really kind of helping, because I always hated the how to give context when it came to the elevator and stuff. So having an establishing shot that kind of better gives you the idea of, oh yeah, this tower, it's to go down to that area. I'm happier with that. We got, of course, this with our Karthus Sandworm and our Ancient Dragon Slayer armor. Ancient Dragon armor. No, that'd be a different game's lore. So that was cool. And I don't think there was anything really new here. Oh, wait, yeah, this shot here with the closed door. Like, that's the only new shot. Oh, yeah, with that door, too. That's fine. Getting more framed and stuff. Oh, I have to remember to remove the green text now. Additional shots for Lothric. I feel like it's just important because I feel like since I'm talking about, like, you know, Lothric and like the surroundings, it's better to do that than just having like, oh, Northern Man. And then this is the one. I think this is nice. Then you got Kiln of the First Flame there. I think it was important to be able to talk about some of the details there. And same thing here. Just more banners. Felt like it was important to reiterate just how common this royal banner thing is. And this is nothing new. So, like, I'm very happy with how Lothric Beginning and all these other articles are turning out with the added reference images. I think it's giving me, like, you know, it's just that extra little bit of polish. Loki, by the way, what did the King's Ring serve aside from being magical? Key to Vendrick's Diddy Gates. The JP does call it an emblem or proof. The term uses like an emblem or proof of kingship. So if the idea is like, okay, what did it serve as besides being the magical ring for the doors? I think that's it. I think it simply was like, oh, if you have this ring, then you are 100% His Majesty, King Vendrick, and therefore you have access to this area that we're blocking with the door. So, like, whether it's his private quarters at the fort or to Aldia's mansion after he's the one who forbid anyone from entering, you know, whether it's, what's another one where you get the doors for, I guess place in, like, you know, Lothric, you know, Drangleic Castle or whatever, right? Like, wherever, oh, to the throne. Yeah, that'd be one, right? Like, any place where, like, you are supposed to be the king. And you're the only one who's supposed to go to these places. That's what the ring is meant to serve. But, like, yeah, it's really just magical plot device. There's really nothing that deep about it. Like, it's not like I guess you could maybe argue it's like a king seal that like maybe like you could like sign documents or stuff with it with a wax or whatever. I'm not sure if it's really designed to be that sort of thing, but I suppose if you really want to force it. Always a possibility. There we go. Oh, yeah. Controls. No, we're good there. Anything interesting here? Nope, that's everything we got. Okay, let's just move in. All right. That's lame, but did you know that it has +5 attack rate to fire damage? It makes castle stone enemies not move. Can it show Vendrick's soul at the Llik got into it? Assuming what you're saying is 100% accurate, I am. Yeah, it's possible. It adds more fire. Oh, sorry, I am not. No, Bray, my bad. Mixing you and I am up again. Those goddamn white avatars. That might be the best justification, the more I'm thinking about it, on how exactly the mechanism works, if it's supposed to be some sort of soul detection device. Granted, obviously, it doesn't work if you have Vendrick's actual soul, but by that point, the ring is basically useless, because you've used it for basically everything except going to Aldia's Cape. So you can always make a case that there's like some sort of synergistic effect that the ring is supposed to have, because obviously it'll probably be a bit more difficult with their more limited knowledge on like, oh yeah, if you just happen to have Vendrick's soul versus if you have his ring. Fire's probably the most interesting choice they have for that. He mixed his soul with it as an ID card. Yeah, that would probably be my best explanation, is that it functions kind of like an ID card. Man, this whole Dark Souls is secretly a sci-fi is becoming more and more true every day. Ah, damn. All right. Uh-huh. I do it. Force. 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 Oh. All right. I've been the shot. You still use the King's Gate without the ring equipped, Loki, after you use the ring for the first time? Well, that I'm willing to just say, well, you unlocked it, game mechanics, yada yada yada, right? Like I'm not gonna get too hung up on that. Because the point is the first action. This is Dark Souls 2. They're not expecting you to go through the gate like a million freaking times. Outside of maybe the kiln. Sorry, the throne. Oh, you're... Imagine being mistaken for I am. Yeah, isn't that crazy, no way? Wild. All All right, no fatties. Well, except one blue guy. One blue guy is allowed in this house. Ah, damn it! No. I know you said what you said, no, Bray. Lamau DS2 dis. What do you expect? We have to get our quota in. I knew it. I was like, damn, I hope this doesn't kill. Of course it killed. We're going again. All I want is to heal the world. Makes sense, especially after you have that other door that opens if you kill Vendrick. Yeah, they definitely have something akin to that. Pays DS2, disser. All my homies diss DS2. Loki, I am said I said that, not me. No, I am. He completely. It's no Bray said that. It's very clear. Based in Elden Pull. I think you meant pilled. Hell, I'm gonna be a grammar Nazi about that one, just to screw with you. All right. All right, stamina. You gotta learn, Loki, bro, that I am the superior Puck PFP, and I am the inferior Tree Sentinel PFP. Got it, I am. I'll make sure to keep that in mind. All right. All right. Woo! All right, can we try not destroying the beautiful candelabras that God gave us? I think you mean shut up, you bully. Stop. I should probably change the profile pic. All right, that would really fuck with me if I finally actually identify you guys properly, and then you guys just switch the profile picture on me, and then I'm getting confused because I'm going by the picture now. That would be devilish. Get away from the candelabra. I'm once again asking. Thank you. Oh. Come on, heal. There we go. I can't believe you destroyed the candelabra. What did I say? no respect in this house. I want a divorce. I can't chat. I can't deal with your father anymore. What are these religion these deacons identify with? Definitely not Way of White anymore. Ah, damn, it was late. All right, for like the 5th time killing this. Does also see a deep soul on the Pope's long staff? At least a deep flame. I guess you could say it's probably being generated by a deep soul. But yeah, it's supposed to be some kind of deep flame that comes off of it. Does the deep faith predate Aldrich? No. Okay, so again, for those that haven't read my deep article, link in the description to my website. The general idea is that... Okay, let's make this simple for me. Where's the warp? Okay, here we go. Let's go to our friend Cathedral of the Deep bonfire. All right, so basically, there was no cathedral. There was just this wonderful, convenient, holy pool that would allow you to cleanse unholy impurities, at least in theory. Effectively, especially if you're undead, it would probably just kill you. Wouldn't really solve anything. But if you're someone who, say, has abyssal corruption or something, you might benefit from that. So you have a bunch of people that are coming to go take a dip inside the magical deep pool, right? As a result, a bunch of people unsurprisingly die, especially, again, like we said, the aforementioned undead, or even those who probably aren't undead, but they're still corrupted. Probably not that useful, but hey. Beliefs, am I right? So you even got wonderfully Astoran knights who are coming here for it. Very quickly, people realize, oh, this is a thing. So instead of it becoming this thing that just like a few people decide they're just gonna kind of try out, the pool starts having a church being built around it. And we get stuff like the cleansing chapel. And then you suddenly get a lot more people being buried here by the Way of White, because they're the ones who established the church. And where are my tombstones? Right? You got wonderful little flower images and stuff, because, you know, get it? Because tombstones in our world usually have crosses because of Christianity. But in this world, they have flowers, because blossoming flowers are symbols of fire. So, you have that being done here. But eventually, they need it even bigger, because even more people, undead or otherwise, are coming for this, right? Let's keep in mind, this is all happening in the vicinity of Lothric. So these are mostly people that are from the Lothric area, right? So if you're not like, you know, sticking it out in the undead settlement, and you aren't deciding you're gonna settle on becoming an Abyss Watcher, kind of keep moving until you get to this church here. And the church facility becomes this giant thing we see, right? It becomes that big. And they got lots of people, undead or otherwise, they're being buried here, right? You can see this wonderful little hole in the middle to give us the sign of this is someone cursed by the dark sign. Similar to how we see in the Ring City, how the pygmies cursed with the dark sign are treated. Specifically the royals. How did the pool acquire its cleansing properties? That you're left to speculate. There have been, we see this example of it precedented in Mirah. It's also not, like, unfathomable where we see the idea of, like, you know, stuff that's, like, you know, blessed water or something, or that appears naturally. You know, like, obviously, the powers of sunlight and stuff manifest in thunderstorms. That's a natural phenomenon. You can also force it through magic like miracles. So, again, did a god actually, like, bless the water here? Or was it something else that happened that just happened to cause the pool to get, like, sunlight power that would give the holy variety that would cause it to be like this? Who knows? Anyway, the point is that this is what the pool was for. Now, when Aldrich became Big Bloobly Glob over there in Irithyll, which is unfortunately not shown here because goddamn undead settlement was more important. Wow, Miyazaki. Wow. Anyway, the point is that they say he got sent over here, and they're like, okay, you just go over here and take a dip. Get all this horrible, deep, cursed crap from all your man-eating fixed. Well, it didn't work. It not only did it not work, so it didn't kill Aldrich. It didn't save him from his condition, his sludgy condition. It just corrupted the pool. Well, now we have a problem, because that corruption seeps over here into the rest of the land, right? Because what a shocker. Water seeps through cracks in the earth and stuff and moves around. Crazy, I know. And as a result, you have all this corruption and crap. As we can see. Look at all that. Look at all that movie sludgy corruption. Look at all that corrupt root crap. It's so evil. Anyway. So suddenly you have all this corruption. And it's making the bodies here, so now you don't have to worry about undead who may or may not rise from their graves. You got actual regular-ass corpses that are rising from their graves. Because they're being basically reanimated and puppeteered by these maggots that are spawning from the deep. And they consume the body until it's basically just a tail end. And become that. So, naturally, these horrors need to be dealt with. And so while Aldrich is being sealed away, imprisoned, you know, basically put on house arrest for being a very, very bad cannibal in Sullivan's oh-so-pure and saintly city of Irithyll, because as we all know, Sullivan is truly the greatest pope that the Way of White ever had. He's also the only pope that the Way of White ever had, but don't let that, you know, get you down. And all that corruption and stuff that's spreading everywhere needs to be dialed back. Well, in efforts to try to dial back the corruption, everything goes horribly wrong for everyone involved. No matter what they do, their fire, their faith, their miracles, none of it's really solving the problem. It seems to just be slowed at best, but it will eventually accelerate. And they can't really use their holy pool. All they can do is try to plug up the damage. So as a result, Sullivan comes up with the bright idea. Well, since we're not really using this thing for anything else productive, let me go help my pal Oceros over here by turning Aldrich into another Lord of Cinder. That way we can get rid of the Aldrich problem. So he just basically has undead from the settlement get put on the roads of sacrifices to be offered up to Aldrich. Right? That's the big plan. It, results in lots of deaths, obviously. But hey, Aldrich gets a soul worthy of a Lord of Cinder. So he gets eventually sent off to become Lord of Cinder, sealed away, and well, Sullivan's problems are solved. But hey, the cathedrals aren't. They still got to deal with all this problem. And well, good old Caitha here sure as hell ain't helping. And the rest of the gods don't seem to be doing much better for them. And eventually they start turning, although they are in many cases reluctant to, the powers of the deep itself. And their faith begins becoming corrupted. And of course, we all know the Lords of Cinder wake up. Aldrich is like, hey, I'm kind of bored. I'm going to go back home and, you know, indulge a bit. Then he sees the state of the cathedral, the corruption that's happening there, starts thinking about what's going to happen with the world and stuff. He's like, hey, you know, I could be king of a new age revolving around me. And therefore, the rest is history. They basically, those that aren't killed and thrown into the grape bins, as it were, you know, the wine-making barrels, to be squished, they end up becoming part of this new deep cult. Caitha, teehee, yeah. Caitha! You know, Caitha, who suspiciously shows up right when Velka's on the decline. in the country where she was last seen. Just wow. Crazy. How convenient. This god wasn't even a thing outside of a very far off continent. Far and away from anything happening. It just happened to show up. I know. Man, someone might get suspicious, but don't worry. She's got this apostle to speak for her and protect her. For anyone who might dare to voice some doubts. And don't worry, the archbishop's totally cool with her. Definitely legit. PS2 canon confirmed. Well, yeah, all the games are canon. Yeah, the problem with the Dark Souls sequels is that people didn't understand Dark Souls 1, so they don't understand what's going on. They're hopeless. Well, it's hopeless for them trying to understand what's going on with Dark Souls 2 as a result. And that because they don't understand Dark Souls 1 or 2, there's like no way in hell they're understanding Dark Souls 3, which is unfortunate. Because Dark Souls 3 is, I would say, is probably the most underappreciated. Obviously, it can't be Dark Souls 2 because, well, it's Dark Souls 2. There's nothing to appreciate. Would an Age of the Deep work in favor of the likes of Seath? No. Seath's problem has nothing to do with what the state of the world is at. It's a purely personal psychological problem. It is his insecurity over the fact that he doesn't have what his brethren did. That is the core problem with Seath. Seath literally had everything. Like, listen, when you marry Guinevere, you've made it. Like, I'm sorry, just straight up, you've made it. I don't care if daddy beat you as a child. You married Guinevere. That automatically, like, completely resets your karma. So, like, the problem with Seath was not that, it had nothing to do with, like, you know, his actual circumstances in life. His station was great. Better than great. Arguably the best they could have been. But he still wasn't satisfied. And it ultimately destroyed him. And he basically threw everything away in the process. Which is, you know, what did his brethren have? Scales. Scales of immortality. Seath could not get over the fact that he was born without them. By virtue of being a Moonlight Dragon. Which makes sense in that context of why he doesn't have them. Right. Because again, think of it this way. If the moon is, if the moon represents rock, and the moonlight is effectively just sunlight that reflects off the moon, then it's effectively, and the sunlight is fire, then the combination of sunlight with the moon producing moonlight is essentially the effect of, it's the power of fire as it interacts with the natural world all around us, because everything at its basis is fundamentally rock, right? So the thing was that, of course, that key rock quality, the scales of immortality, the stone scales of immortality, of course that would be lost in a Moonlight Dragon. Because the entire point is to show, oh, the world, like, Seath is basically the prime example of the disparity of fire and how it changes the world, especially the dragons. Like, he is basically an embodiment of that. So, of course, that's how it ended up. But he can't accept that. So that's why he's so obsessed with trying to find a way to give himself scales, right? But my scales! Yeah, exactly. Seath needed therapy and nobody gave him one. I'll be honest, I don't know if, given, you know, what we know about his obsession, I'm not sure if therapy would have even helped him. I truly think we have to keep in mind, like, especially after Dark Souls 3 with what we learned with Shira, like, Seath had normal relationships with people. He had a loving, wonderful daughter who he doted on, right? Like there was a time when Seath was just kind of normal. And maybe you could argue it's isolation. He gets separated from Shira. His relationship with his wife goes bad because he cheats on her with Velka. Like you could argue, like, in some ways maybe it's of his own making, but it still is all rooted in this fundamental thing. He is obsessed with the scales. He's willing to do anything he can to try to advance that prospect. But he destroys everything else in the process, and that just causes him to further spiral. I don't know if therapy would have necessarily been able to fix that. But who knows, right? We don't live in that hypothetical universe where the medieval fantasy setting had a therapist. Guys, don't listen to Loki. He's spreading fake news. Pontiff totally used Aldrich, and Aldrich actually really cool. This post was brought to you by the Cathedral of the Deep. Also, Rosaria's fine. Yeah, Rosaria's totally fine, guys. Nothing unsavory has ever happened to Rosaria. Definitely not involving Aldrich. Ignore Aldrich's 2 surviving kids. Don't question what happened to the others. Yeah. Again, I think the Dark Souls narrative, like when you like fully break it down and look at it in its totality, it's like it's a really cool kind of like, obviously there's the grander thing about like, you know, hubris and like sort of the obsession of trying to control the age and sort of the tragedy of that, and like, you know, the unfairness of the world. Like, obviously you can go in from that angle, but I think what's really interesting is the personal, emotional, and familial drama of the characters and how they're conveyed. Because these are effectively just, you know, like, let's be honest, Seath is just big, scary boss enemy dragon who annoyingly curses you, right? That's effectively what he is. His entire character is built up through item descriptions and dialogue, and obviously subsequent games build on his legacy further. What about Koth? Would he enjoy the Age of the Deep? Well, Koth is dead. But, yeah, like Nobre says, Koth is confirmed dead. But even if he were still alive, no, the Age of the Deep Sea isn't what Koth exactly wants. He wants what Yuria is promising, which is the Age of Hollows, which again, even that isn't necessarily what Koth would want. Obviously, he wants the standard Age of Dark, but as of Dark Souls 3, we have so many other problems that he's willing to settle, at least for Age of Hollows in the short term, while we have to work out all this. We have to unfuck all the fuckery that Gwyn caused. Can Seath lay eggs? I'll be honest. We don't know enough about dragons and their physiology, like, because we have to keep in mind, like, they existed, the original ancient dragons existed in a time where there was no gender. So, at the very least, there theoretically shouldn't be, because disparity didn't exist in that way, right? So, you really do have to question what procreation for dragons were like after fire was introduced, gave them souls, and suddenly their bodies and stuff and changing through desires and things. Like, did they just develop random sex organs? Like, question mark? Like, did some dragons just suddenly pop a little boy? Other girl, and the other ones just gave themselves a little girly couch? I don't know. Something to think about. Really? Aren't the serpents eternal? No. The name Primordial Serpents is a localization thing. There's nothing actually to indicate they're from, like, you know, primordial, if you take it most literally, to be like the beginning of the very universe or whatever, right? Like, they're not like this transcendent race or anything like that. In fact, they very clearly demonstrate that they're basically descendants of dragons, and they idolize the dragons like most descendants do. Though obviously that doesn't stop them from being okay with the gods killing them for the sake of the world. And that's the point. They're actually called the World Serpent, like, you know, Jormungand, Norse mythology. Gwyn's a reference to Thor and stuff like that. You know, Gwyn versus Koth is Jormungandr versus Thor and Ragnarok. Haha. How did Koth die? We don't know. But considering that Frampt also seems to be dead, as well as the other primordial serpents with him, I would probably guess maybe old age. What the fuck are the angels in the Ring City, by the way? Do you mean the angel that helped Gertrude? I'm going to be talking about that in the Londor thesis, but the short answer is they're the angels we see in the Dragheap DLC. Right. And the Pilgrim Butterflies seem to be either an incomplete, imperfect, or still maturing form of that. Yeah, there's still, like, all, yeah, again, the less you think about, like, Age of Dark stuff in terms of, like, the actual metaphysics, the better, in my opinion. Because once you get into a world where, okay, now there's no time, things get very, weird. Like, Dark Souls 3, like, just, like, touches on that stuff, and it goes in, like, very heady directions with it. So I feel like it's like, okay, we're like, you know, we've touched on enough. Like, let's not try to think about this too hard. It's just going to make all everyone's brains hurt. Prince Lothric's a believer in the angelic faith, right? No. Prince Lothric rejects everyone who tries to basically coax him to do anything but what he wants to do, which is just to die there in his tower. He's like, I'm just gonna sit here and hold myself hostage to make sure nobody gets what they want until it's all too late. Pilgrims turning to butterflies? Yeah, they're called pilgrim butterflies, right? I was always confused by that. Yeah, because in the original game, Dark Souls 3, they don't clarify what the angels are. They just mention that Gertrude met one. And then you got the pilgrim butterfly showing up with the eclipse or whatever, right? But yeah, most of stuff involving the angels happens off screen. So you got the pilgrim butterflies from the... So the pilgrims, they form butterflies. Those butterflies become the angels. Those angels meet with Prince Lothric in his tower. Prince Lothric rejects them. We know through, obviously, Lorien, because we know how Lorien, Lorien's the muscle there. And as all you see left is all the feathers from their, their battle, I guess, from the magic, right? So you just have all these angel feathers littered around on the floor around Prince Lothric when you enter. Must be Velka under there. No, what do you mean, Saladin? It's obviously just Keitha. Good old Keitha. Good old reliable, totally not Velka Keitha. Yeah, that's the answer, Adam. The bird feathers are because, again, they're produced from the magic. I think they can also fall from the wings of the angels naturally. I have to go double check our images we got from the other day. But yeah, it's the basic idea is essentially all the pilgrim butterflies who become angels are basically trying to plead with Lothric, and that's why when we show up when we show up for the boss battle, his first line of dialogue is kind of it's an easy to miss throwaway line, especially with the localization. But they're like, another dogged contender. But the Japanese is basically him saying, oh, still more. Like, he's basically saying, oh, you're not the first person to come here and, give me your spiel about what you want me to do or become part of, right? And he's just like, I have no interest in any of this king bullshit. I don't want to be your king, your Lord of Cinder, Lord of Hollows, whatever the bullshit is, like, helping contribute, like, helping you, like, I don't care. I just want to die. I listened to my good old teacher, Master Aldia. He had the right idea. Aldia wouldn't lie to me. To be fair, he did it. He actually did it. Aldia's just an idiot. In the OG games, despite the angelic face's departure from Lothric's fire linking dark. Yeah, it's a departure. I don't know what you mean by OG games. There's only this game. There's no angelic faith in 2 or 1. Same feathers are found in Gertrude's cell, by the way. Oh yeah, we do find those. We also have Rosaria's peeps do the same thing. The maggot people, right? Yeah. Actually, I haven't brought this up in forever. Like, this is always helpful. So where is it? I keep putting in the wrong folder. Aldi is just another cult leader. Why is it all the scientists becoming cult leaders? We gotta send Aldia to herd a space station. He can join the rest. Like, all you goddamn scientists, stop starting cults. It's Narholma that's under there. I always knew my Lord of Blood was a hot woman. I will say, for a granny, Velka looking mighty fine in this statue, I will say. Like, she must really pay attention to skincare. I had an aunt that was like that, chat. Like, I swear, that woman was like 60 or something. God, she still looked like she was 20. Like, it absolutely, like, I'm sure her hair and stuff, she probably dyed it, but like, you would think she literally walked out of like the 1920s, like the Roaring 20s. Like, God. Her husband, not so much. That man looked his age, but his wife, holy hell, he was a lucky man. Did Rosaria eventually turn heel and decide that she could use the deep as well, or is she just doing her own thing? I'm not sure if she's actively deciding, oh, well, the deep has destroyed me, now I will use it to destroy you. I don't think that's probably her mindset. I think she is just using, like, it's a part of her now, right? The corruption is like, you know, it's got down to her soul. So she's just using it. Again, like, Rosaria is the chaos agent, right? Like, she's just like saying, burn it all, fuck you all. I just want you all to suffer, right? Gwyn versus Koth, who's the biggest baddie? Oh, easily Gwyn. I'm a Koth apologist. In the context of the Dark Souls universe, like, Koth is the good, like, choosing Koth in Dark Souls 1 is the good ending, quote unquote. Like, here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand is that Miyazaki's very simple. Like, this guy, like, he's not very complicated on how he does things. Like, I think Elden Ring's probably the first time he's actually worked out a legitimately, like, you know, like, oh, you know, from a certain point of view type of like ending structure, because it's just the nature of Elden Ring. And let's be honest, that's mostly because of, you know, collaborating with Martin, right? Like, Martin's the one who set up the cosmology in that way where Miyazaki could kind of feel confident in trying to explore those different points of view. But like his first big game with Demon Souls, it's literally just a good and evil story. It's as basic gets, right? Again, it's not a knock against Demon Souls or anything like that. I love it in its narrative and its characters and stuff like that. But that what boils down to fundamentally that. Then in Dark Souls, his idea is, oh, I will do the good and evil story, but I will switch it so now the spooky, scary, dark is actually the good, and the, you know, the bright, shining, you know, wonderful light is the bad, right? Like, it's the typical subversion. Like, there's nothing really that, like, oh my god, like what a novel masterpiece, truly a genius writer, right? Dark Souls 2, well, Dark Souls 2 is just spinning your wheels. The narrative doesn't matter in 2. It's just them trying to come up with a way that you could basically redo what you already did in 1, with somehow giving us less options. And then finally with Scholar, they're like, okay, fine, we'll give you an option. Your option is you choose neither. Congratulations, you've effectively done nothing. The literal fence sitter option. And then Miyazaki's like, oh, I like that idea. Let me deconstruct that. And then we get Dark Souls 3, which is showing, you know, the fatal flaw of Aldia's logic. Preaches your gospel. I have. You can purchase my book, Abyssal Archive. The most comprehensive, consistent, and comprehensible account of Dark Souls lore ever to be put to paper. You can hear the true gospel. No, but yeah, you could probably get the... actually, I don't know with how inflation and stuff is. It's always hard to keep track of this stuff. But you could probably get the digital copy for like 20 bucks, 25 bucks maybe. My big girl been through hell and back. Yeah. Yeah. Again, like here... Okay, we're gonna do this again. Or is it? Yeah, okay. All right, let's go back. All right, perfect. All right, back to the website. I really do need to get rid of that green text. I completely forgot about it, Chad. I've been so busy lately. Third beginning, just cosmology. Plus a man, like, what? Like, who cares? You guys can see, yeah, you guys can see this, okay. Ariandel. I'm so proud of Ariandel with how it turned out. Considering it's been half done for, like, 2 years. I left it on the back burner for so long, but after coming back to it the last few months, like, it's just been, it feels so rewarding. Lloyd, who cares? Asshole. Archdragon Peak. This one I'm impressed with because it's a topic I'm not personally attached to. Like, I'm not enthusiastic, or at least I wasn't, about Archdragon Peak, but I really enjoyed, like, actually kind of, even for myself, learning a bit more about the lore and stuff like that. So, like, I think, like, that's kind of really cool what Miyazaki did, considering, like, it's probably, like, the most fan servicey thing is delivering for people, you know, the Firstborn, like, actually getting to meet and fight him, right? But I really like it, especially considering how core Archdragon Peak is to the wider setting. Lothric beginning, like, I'm gonna just say this right now. I think Lothric is just, you know, it's literally just Boletaria again, but in that respect, it's a better Boletaria. It's like so much more fleshed out, and the way that it fits into the setting, it helps like kind of weave in to sort of like all the games together for this one. I just really, really appreciate that. Irithel Irithyll was a monster for me when Irithyll was included Sullivan, and it was like, you know, they were both like 25 pages each, and I think both of them are probably now like 28 or more pages each now if I were to count them, I bet you. Like these are two monster topics, but like Irithyll is cool. Like I like the area generally. I like the stuff with Gwendolyn and the lore and stuff like that, but I feel like all the really good stuff is mostly set up for obviously Sullivan down here. Untended Graves, again, I always find Untended Graves to be the topic that is the most heady. It's the one I feel most satisfied explaining for people, right? Like actually, you know, I think people like really, you know, get a lot out of it. But like it's not one where I'm like, oh wow, this is like super crazy cool. Like again, I don't like time travel plots generally speaking. So like this is not something that is ever going to be in my like top 10 in terms of like topics. Though again, I appreciate it considering its importance for people who are always understandably confused about Untended Graves. Gundar, again, I think Gundar is probably one of the underappreciated topics. Again, I think the way he's kind of weaved into the narrative and kind of how like thematically he kind of serves as a kind of foreshadowing for the larger fate of Lothric itself and how things have ended up, I think is interesting. The pillars, again, I like my world building because Lothric is just a better Boletaria. It's cool seeing the actual government structure fleshed out and all the little details and things and all the stuff and, you know, just everything in terms of how that all works out. Lothric slaves, I'll be honest, I was kind of impressed with like just how much there is on this topic, especially when you include stuff like the mercenaries, sellswords, all that stuff. So that's kind of neat. Crystal sages, again, I was never that big on Logan, but I think it's I think the crystal sages are kind of cool, especially considering they're weaving together both Logan and Seafloor, and they're kind of like helping set up some important stuff for later down the line in terms of the world building and plot. The High Wall, I like the idea of the High Wall and all the stuff related in the cosmological stuff. My only problem with the High Wall is that the way it's executed, and that's mostly in relation to Lothric Bridge, is really awkward. Like, let's see if I can, let me move myself over there while let's get out of this cathedral. High Wall of Lothric, Ashen Grey, we don't care, we don't care, we don't care. Tower on the Wall. Oh, right, because it's taking, that's why it is. Foot of the High Wall, there we go. Like, the way the bridge is set up, like, it's really hard. I get why Lothric Bridge is so confusing for people. The Pling Plong in second phase of Nameless. Oh, yeah, that's another good one. Yeah, but, like, this is very, like, okay, so, like, let's accept, right? Let's accept the idea that the bridge is supposed to be like, okay, you go through... Oh, wait, you guys can't see. My bad. All right, so let's accept for a second. Okay, you're supposed to... You ride in to the undead settlement, right? God knows from where, but I don't know. Let's just say, like, there's some, like, entrance over here somewhere behind these trees or some shit. All right, you're right into the undead settlement. You're going on your way. And you're like, okay, I gotta go to... I'm moving on to Lothric. Got an important ambassador's meeting or some shit or whatever, right? You come in. First off, why the hell is the gate checkpoints got you be able to climb to the top of them from this side? This is the exact opposite of what you want to do. Like we're not trying to besiege Lothric. We're not trying to keep everyone in Lothric. It's to keep out. So, like, this completely defeats the purpose of the checkpoint. If someone could theoretically be able to break their way up here to get to the top, and you would presume that the top is where the ways to open these gates here would be, though the game doesn't actually reflect that here. This one does when you get there, if I recall correctly, but this one doesn't. So it's like, oh, okay. So that's already a bit awkward. Then you got a second one. So it's like, okay, we've got the one checkpoint, the second checkpoint, the third checkpoint, which, again, notice how this one conveniently doesn't have anything that you're able to climb up of. How the hell was this supposed to work compared to the other ones? I don't know. And then you get to the fourth checkpoint, which, again, not only is it like the other one where you don't got anything you're able to even climb. You got the gatekeeper here, which is like, okay, fine, whatever. All right, it's a bit off, you know? It's a little off from where it should be. But, okay, High Wall throws things off. Okay, it threw things off so much, but the bridge is naturally curved. Yeah, they made... Here's the real answer. They made it for exploration purposes, right? Because they wanted it to be where you have this whole sequence with the dogs coming out and killing everything, and you have several options. You go down this way, You can obviously go through the back way if you're trying to just avoid it. You can go all the way over here, jump down on this so you don't take much fall damage, then come here and just basically sneak around it, right? But again, also, like, who the hell? Ah, yes, you can never get into our town. We're not allowing you in. I don't care how much you pray for entry. We're not letting you in. Also, don't notice this conspicuous lever here, which totally doesn't just open the gate for you. Like, none of this makes sense. Right? But, like, even the bridge itself is actually, like, properly curved. Like, this isn't like, oh, this is the high wall or something. Like, this is just how the infrastructure was made. It was designed so not only is Lothric way off course from where the bridge should be normally, it's also curved, so it's even further off course, right? Which, again, content, you know, okay, the idea probably wasn't that this was going to lead to Lothric directly. At the very least, there was a model where this was at least straight, so it wasn't as bad, and Lothric was going to be, I think, a bit lower, as I recall. But yeah. Would you call Elden Ring a subversion if good and bad, like Dark Souls? I don't know, because I'm not familiar enough with all the endings and like the lore of Elden Ring in general to say whether I think that narrative-wise there is like a, you know, a definitively like better ending in the world state using like, you know, various metrics. Immersion ruined a brief in the game. Thanks, Loki. No problem, man. But yeah, Lothric Bridge, it's that topic where it's the stuff with the, it's you know, it's more so Lothric Bridge problem than a high wall problem, but it's directly related to the high wall. And it's just one of those things where it's like, this stuff, it makes zero sense from a lore perspective. It's really just plain silly. Thank you. That lever always pissed me off. Like, how couldn't you find a better solution for play? Like, the solution was you time it. You just make sure that you force your way in before it happens. Or maybe you have it where the guy the guy is supposed to move over here and he stares. Maybe you make it where if you're outside here still, some more dogs will spawn and then he'll come the way back and he'll do it again, right? Like, there's definitely ways to do it. I get why they did it. They didn't want to create any friction for players who chose to want to just explore and ignore all this stuff. But yeah, this sequence, in theory, it's cool. In practice, it's a bit wishy-washy. And I think that it has to do with Dark Souls 3's overall principle of trying to give quality of life to players. So it doesn't allow a lot of interesting ideas to just kind of exist outside of the, you know, mandatory, you know, difficulty, right? Age of Perfect Order is the good ending, objectively. I have made sure to calculate all the best possibilities, and the Age of Order is the... Nah, it's like, nah, get wrecked, Age of Stars. Get sorcery, idiot. Anyway, but, yellow paint moment, yeah. Yellow paint moment. So yeah, high wall not. Undead Settlement, I'll be honest, especially with the new stuff, with the reference images and like things, like, I'll be honest, Undead Settlement just keeps growing on me. It's one of those areas where like, I just really kind of like it. Like, we don't really have, like, obviously it's very Bloodborne coded with the whole kind of like, you know, Hick village feel, kind of like Hemwick, right? But I definitely like this idea of like, you know, we kick out all our undead and they just kind of set up their own town right outside and everyone's just kind of okay with that. Like, God forbid this town suddenly descends into a bunch of hollows and suddenly now, like, Lothric has to fight its way out from this, but, like, okay, sure, I guess. Just send some slaves to help them, so I guess this won't happen. Whatever you say. But anyway, like, I think it's just, like, it's a cool concept overall. And I kind of like all the nuances in how it intersects, and that's what I like about, this Cathedral of the Deep, Faron, and Road of Sacrifices. Like, this region, like, this is the most, like, true to being the land of Lothric. It's just kind of cool how all these different places interact with each other, and of course with the larger Lothric castle in the lore. Like, just I just like that type of subtlety. You got Sullivan then. Sullivan. Look, okay, chat, look. I love villains. I love villains. Sully scratches all my itches. Because, like he's Aldia, but actually smart, right? Like, Aldia is someone who's not very ideological when it comes to magic types and stuff like that, right? Aldia just wants to understand the world, and when he understands the world, that's where ideology creeps in for him. Because then his personal biases happen, and he sort of forms, you know, his entire worldview around what he would want ideally for the world, right? Like Sullivan doesn't care about all that idealistic bullcrap. Sullivan just wants what's good for Sullivan, and namely for him to be able to, you know, advance his understanding of the universe for his own self-fulfillment, and of course his own advancement in power and self-aggrandizement. Like, ultimately, Sullivan just wants to be able to be free to do whatever Sullivan wants to do. And I kind of appreciate that, because he's the first time we actually get that kind of character, right? The truly sort of, like, amoral sorcerer. And it just results in, like, having a really fascinating character when it's like, oh, it turns out that a sorcerer is the one who took over the world of faith, as it were. And the irony being is, in some respects, it's because probably the most devoted, faithful person, Gwendolyn, has that, you know, that weak point in that chink in his armor with the sorcery. Irithel superior. Do not say it like that, Loki. What do you mean, Nardi? Perfect ordering literally is we should have a god that doesn't have feelings. Yeah, we need a god that is truly transcendent, right? Again, I like the Elden Ring endings, like, in terms of, like, kind of thinking about, like, their implications, stuff like that. But again, like I said, I don't know deep enough to be like, okay, no, this is definitely, like, 100% the best ending. He's the perfect example of how to write unsympathetic villain properly. Yeah, exactly. Like, here's the thing with, like, Sullivan. He is completely unsympathetic, but you could still relate to being the type of person where he's like, I just kind of want to do my thing, man, right? Like, that's ultimately what it is. And he's just making sure that everything is done in the power to facilitate him being able to do his personal hobby, which is just studying magic. It just so happens that he, you know, like so many other sorcerer characters, he's so brilliant and also so amoral that he's willing to do literally anything, including really messed up shit. And he's willing to, by extension, do any type of messed up shit in order to put himself into power. I just really appreciate that. Right? Like, this is a guy who, unironically, does a decent job running the Way of White after subverting and taking it over purely for mercenary reasons. Like, it has nothing to do with, like, anything ideological or faith-based for him. It's just that he's in a position where that is what's best for Sullivan, is to keep the system in place. And I just think that's very fascinating to have as a character in this world. Especially when you compare it to, like, someone like Gwendolyn, who in the OG game was truly, like, you know, he's the diehard real believer. Like, he's the one who actually believes in his shit. Sullivan's just like, yeah, for me, this is all bullshit, but it helps me. Which is what, you know, really kind of ties in with how, like, Aldrich and stuff like that. Because it kind of shows how, you know, Sullivan trying to keep up appearances while not really, you know, actually having his heart in it ends up being his undoing in many ways. Just fix nothing. Don't even try. Just don't even bother to fix the ring, man. Sullivan scratches all my itches. Ew, what do you mean? Listen, he scratches my back, I scratch his. We have a good thing going. Yeah, that's true. The thing with Elden Ring is the way it's set up in the multitude of endings. There's definitely probably an argument for all of them. Even the probably you could argue is probably like the worst, like the most objectively bad ending. I would probably guess would probably be the Dung Eater one. But even that one, you at least have the premise that it's gonna be awful at first, but then everyone's gonna be awful, and so nobody is, right? So there's always kind of the end state of being like, it's gonna be awful for those who are personally attached to having the unawful state. But essentially, it's just trying to it's trying to subvert the very idea of definitions of right and wrong and stuff like that. So there's definitely something, there's something, you know, like there's some meat there to trying to get into the philosophy behind it. He's into tree man. In my future DS3 mod, I took away the rest of the bridge going too far to the left so you can see an actual dead end. Can't fix the left angle, but can show the intention. Yeah. You'd have to completely change this model or switch it over to the old model. And then, yeah, there's just so many problems with this. Like essentially you have to also believe that not only, because basically everything is more or less like pretty aligned. Like there's nothing else. Like once you get past like Undead Settlement, the high wall stops becoming really a thing for all intents and purposes, right? Like there's nothing like, oh, stuff in Faron is like really out of place or whatever or anything like that. Like they don't really do a lot with the high wall beyond this point up here. It kind of gets forgotten by the narrative. Kind of like the Pus of Man. They don't really try to focus on the idea of, oh yeah, Pus of Man could potentially show up like anywhere, right? And I get why, because they want to focus on like the narrative being told with the Pus of Man in Lothric. But like, yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, this bridge, it's like everything here is aligned and perfectly in place to where it should be, more or less. Except Lothric itself. Lothric just somehow shifted like, what, 50 miles? 50 miles to the west or something? Like, it's kind of crazy. Dung Eater's ending will have a new horrible mass murderer, Dung Eater, every 1,000 years. I remember the line, right? I don't remember that being exactly it, but again, it's been a while since I looked at his dialogue. Hey, Loki, don't you think that Koth in the Dark was depicted badly enough in DS for it to not be a mirror version of the good and bad? I mean, Ulasil Man is the Dark Race, the Pus of Man, etc. Well, Pus of Man is a Dark Souls 3 thing, so I wouldn't say that'd be fair. But oh, I guess you're trying to talk about the series, not DS1 specifically. All right, so in the context of DS1, Four Kings is Koth himself admitting, yeah, I fucked up. I chose the wrong guys. Those guys didn't understand what I was saying. Like that is Koth's actual justification in the game. Where it's like, I was trying to tell them thing, they didn't actually get it. And we see what the result was. So that's kind of Koth disowning it. And the fact that you can only show up when you kill them, specifically when you kill them and not because Framp told you to, but on your own initiative, that's what makes Koth be like, you're going to be different. You're someone who has the moral clarity to properly understand the profound truths I am laying on you. Right? And the way that and again, I cover this in Abyssal Archive. Like, Dark Souls didn't need sequels. Pretty much got told everything we need to know in the original. Again, am I happy we got Dark Souls 3 and all the lore that came with it? Sure. Dark Souls 2? Well, you know, there's good. You know, there's definitely, you know, I'm not going to say that the devs didn't have some interesting ideas in there, that there is some good in there. But like, did either of these games need to exist? No. If Miyazaki wanted to depict the dark as being good, then he could have done a better job. Miyazaki wanted you to be able to choose for yourself as well, though, right? And that's the point, is that Miyazaki is... Let's put it this way. So, Miyazaki understands that most people are not going to get his stories. He has gone on the record saying that in interviews. He gets it. He gets sad because he doesn't want people to not get it. It kind of annoys him when that type of stuff happens. But he is willing to sacrifice people being able to understand his stories for the sake of fans to be able to come to their own conclusions and make the interpretation for themselves, right? Because he doesn't want to go the other direction, as he himself admits, and just make it too obvious and kind of blatant. He finds that kind of distasteful. You could argue he's never really gone to like why or whatever, or what's really his motive for whatever, but you know, that's the general point that he's making, right? So it's a trade-off. So when it came to Dark Souls 1, he wanted players to make the choice for themselves to decide which one that they would think would be the good ending is. Miyazaki makes his point very clear in 3, where he thinks on the whole Age of Fire stuff. And it's basically just a conga line of validating everything Koth has ever said, right? And again, even just using Dark Souls 1 logic, it's very obvious that Frampt is the one that is the one that's being mistruthful, and Koth is being honest and straightforward. But again, we were talking about the Four Kings originally with Koth. With Manus, again, this was again a case where Koth can be ameliorated, because even as Goff says, Koth wasn't really the problem. It was the Ulusilians themselves. Again, Koth was trying. Koth was trying his best, but god darn it, he's just really bad at this. And that's probably the biggest criticism you can give to Koth is that, like, yeah, he just he's kind of incompetent. Yeah, the point Xavier with the line from what I remember is that Dung Eater's just basically saying there's going to be more people to keep spreading this until basically everyone's going to be like him. I would say that I'm not a Gwyn apologist, but I can't for the life of me consider Dark Relay facts benevolent. Well, that, again, that's sort of the point that's being made is that, like, you know, the Dark is completely the Dark and its morality is completely alien to the world, but it is also the necessary next step of the world. It is the inevitable. And when you resist it, you result in worse Dark factions that result. You get the Four Kings. You get what happens with the Ulasilians and them going mad. You get the in 2, like stuff with the Children of Dark that end up splitting off from Manus, right? Like, the problem with what happens is that a lot of what goes on with the Dark is a direct result of Gwyn and the gods and what they did to the Dark Soul by trying to estrange it from man. Like, again, it's sort of the point of, we can't look, see what happens when we see, this is why we have to keep all our slaves enslaved, because look, when we let them, what happens to them? They're so vile and savage that they go crazy and start these rebellions that kill a bunch of people. Well, it's like you're mistreating them, you're abusing them, you've basically kept them uneducated and kept them down, and then when their only response, when they finally get their chance, is extremism and violence, you then blame them, right? That is sort of the comparison to be made, not to, like, put any specific historical examples here. So there's sort of like this inherent problem where it's like, all of this is ultimately because of the gods. It's tragic truth that his respect for the audience results in the story going straight over many players' heads. Again, I respect that about Miyazaki, and I have no problem with that. Again, I am willing to accept that most people aren't going to get it, because I think even if you have the wrong, quote-unquote, like, idea about the lore, or let's say you even have a negative opinion of the game because of that, I think that's fine. I have no problem with people having it, and Miyazaki's fine with that too. It's become, again, it's very clear. He's happy with, like, it's a win-win for him, honestly, from his perspective, because if you got his story, great, he's happy. And if you didn't get his story, but you're happy because you think you did get his story or whatever, then that's great too. Like, ultimately, it doesn't matter. If everyone in the world is wrong about, like, what the story of these games are, Miyazaki still wins because everyone basically gets to talk about, have fun, and just enjoy the game. That's something that Miyazaki fundamentally values above all, right? It's one of the reasons for cooperations and stuff in his game. Gwyn did play a number on Humane, but Koth acted his own, though. Again, and his actions aren't malicious. Again, you could take a lot of problems with sort of Koth and stuff like that, but you ultimately come back to the fundamental question of what is best for the world? What is best for humanity? What is best for everybody involved, generally speaking, right? And all those questions, the answer will always come back to, ultimately, the natural progression of the world is the Age of the Dark. And that is the thing that is best for the world. Now, again, Dark Souls 3 complicates this a bit, right? Because at the same time that it lampoons all the problems that ultimately the Age of Fire endings do cause, it also acknowledges that things are so screwed up that it's no longer that simple of, okay, just pick the other option, right? Yeah. It ultimately goes down to the larger idea that Miyazaki generally has his general message in games is usually, you know, stagnation is bad, yo. Trying to resist the natural order, the natural progress, the natural logic of this universe, whatever the universe is, will always inevitably end up causing more problems than they're actually worth. That's something that's you know, clear in Dark Souls 1 as it's clear in Dark Souls 3. And can you say, well, there's all these negative consequences that will also go with the quote-unquote good thing? Well, yeah, that's true for any decision, right? There's no everything's perfect, we're all living happily ever after, everything's wonderful. It's still what's best for the world, especially when the alternative, as Dark Souls 3 shows, is literally causing the entire world to be reduced to ash. It's like, hey, at some point we kind of say, maybe it isn't worth it to link the fire, right? And that goes into my tirade about Miyazaki's losing a bit of his subtlety for 3 because he feels like you didn't get the point the first time, right? But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, back to the topics. We were on Sullivan, right? Yeah, I love Sullivan. Guinevere, again, I like what they do with Guinevere in this game. Very cool. Kareem, I mean, it's got Velka lore, enough said. The Deep, again, I love my villains. Damn, I love Aldrich. Aldrich, you know, because Miyazaki generally doesn't like making characters who are, like, inelegant, as he would put it, right? Aldrich is the complete opposite of elegant. He is, you know, he is nasty, soppy, you know, gross, disgusting, like everything that Miyazaki generally avoids. But, you know, it has a purpose into the larger narrative being told. And I really appreciate, you know, the way that the Deep is handled in that, you know, larger thematic context. Drang Knights, they exist. It's dark. It's Drang Lake lore. It's kind of got some neat stuff to it, but, like, you know, it's nothing crazy. Rosaria, God, I love this character, and God, it sucks what happened to her. Chaos Demons, I have a bias for Isleth. Absolutely adore this. Karthus, love villains. I think Wolnir's an underappreciated gem. He's hamstrung by the fact that his entire area has, like, some of the worst design in the entire game. I mean, granted, in some respects, that helps with, like, kind of being able to abstract some of the lore and kind of imagine a better area than what Catacombs of Karthus actually is. But, like, yeah, it's a shame. Because they actually ended up with a good idea, but it was too late to actually make the area, like, reflect that stuff better. Profane Capital. I'm proud of this one, but I just do not care about Yorm. Like, I cannot for the life of me care about Yorm and any of the stuff involving Yorm. It means nothing to me. Dark Wraith, again, I like the continuation of their story and narrative. Like, again, it just feels like a natural continuation, no complaints. Farad. Farad feels like the most textbook of the areas in terms of, oh, let's do a sequel and do a follow-up on Artorias, right? Like, that seems like the most obvious thing to kind of do. And, you know, it doesn't help that the Faron Swamp area is kind of so-so for me. But I do think that overall, I think they ended up, like, doing a really good job, especially, again, talk about, like, the larger integration with stuff like Road of Sacrifices, Cathedral of the Deep. And I think the stuff, especially with, like, Crystal Sage and things like that, I like how it ties together in that respect. Xanthos Scholars, kind of cool, but I'll be honest, I've never really cared for Dusk, so. Twin Princess, again, I think Lorien and Lothric have some of the coolest lore in terms of getting to the nitty-gritty specifics of individual characters. Same with Asaros, what a fucking good villain. I think part of it, this character is sold so much by the performance of the actor playing him. Like, imagine getting called in to just, like, do those lines, and then, like, that's it. Like, you just fly off into the sunset, like, you do you, King, like, God. Yorm's cool. Nah, I'm sorry, he's lame. Deep represent. The, where do we get? Lothric Bridge, yeah, like I said, Lothric Bridge causes so many problems, I hate it. The Eclipse, I like what the Eclipse adds, in terms of its simplicity. I think it's kind of weird how, unimportant the Eclipse, though, really is in the grand scheme of things. Like, yeah, it's big, it's kind of spooky and ominous and stuff like that, but, like, when you get down to it, it's not really that big a deal, right? Like, oh no, the Age of Fire is fast approaching. You know, ignore the fact that everything first has turned into Dreadkeep, then a giant ashen desert scene in the cinematic, and, you know, maybe then, and then we still got stuff to go. Like, it's just one of those things where it's kind of like, okay, it just adds more visual flair, but it doesn't really actually change the world state in any, you know, significant way, right? Like, it's mostly just there for vibes and to aura farm. Yeah, the Eclipse makes me feel nothing. I think that's the best way to do it. It's just kind of there. It is. It exists. It's not something I think is, you know, it's not something I think is particularly special. And the fact that I think my Eclipse thing, let me double check. Like, most of this is, like, just me trying to, like, kind of talk about it, like, on a thematic level, just basic for the helping the explain. And then the rest of it is mostly focusing on, like, content and early ideas and stuff for what was probably going to be a more substantial part of the game compared to what we ended up getting in the final product. Like, I think all of that kind of says what you need to know. The Eclipse is just kind of there. Emma, I think Emma's a really cool character. I think she's underappreciated, but, you know, she's still a minor character. I personally feel for her. Like, I think the High Priestess characters in general, I think there's some of the more interesting characters, of the minor characters in the game, personally. Lothric First Scholar, Aldia, just more Aldia lore. I love Aldia. He's my favorite idiot. Like the smartest idiot I've ever met. Like I just absolutely adore what Miyazaki did with him in this game and how absolutely central he is to the premise of this game. Like, God, I love him. Lothric End. Gertrude is a character I would have liked if we got a bit more on her personal life. You know, outside of like, you know, her being like, you know, cleric woman for mommy, because she wasn't a son. Like that seems to be her main thing. And then you get the whole stuff with the angelic faith and everything. I think the Civil War stuff is cool. Again, I think the way it interacts with Asaros and Lothric and Lorien's lore is really cool. And I like just the fact that we get to see like how everything broke down in general. Like I feel like it's a great like climactic event to the setup for this setting. Mound Makers, I'll be honest, there's some cool stuff in here, but I couldn't care less about the Mound Makers. As like they're like I generally like they're probably the most like basic of the I'm crazy, see, right? And Miyazaki's like, get it? They're crazy because everyone considers them crazy, so they became what they all considered, and now they're actually crazy, but their craziness actually has a point. It's like whatever. Loki bro, did Lothric keep a secret crowd hidden up his ass even if he can see? He must have. Clearly he did. It was right there under the robe. You didn't see it. I was gonna make a dirtier joke, but I just opted not to. Ludlith. I mean, Ludlith's cool. I feel like a Ludlith's article is better. I more appreciate the fact that I can explain stuff about Ludlith and how he's not as important as people like he's one of those characters that people like inflate. Like, oh my god, the secret truth about Ludlith. Like, he's really not that big a deal. Again, there's stuff there. It's interesting. There's a like, you know, there's an art, but like it's not that crazy. Shrine Handmaid, again, I like my High Priestess characters. I think they're cool. Solaire, this article exists purely to explain to people or remind people, at least those that didn't read Abyssal Archive, that Solaire is irrelevant to anything. He's a cool, fun minor character, but he is not really involved in much of anything. I'm sorry to say. Katarina, it's Katarina. I think Katarina is probably the, and specifically with Sigurd, is kind of the most like fan servicey stuff that Dark Souls 3 has. Like even Andre has a point to his appearance, and there's like a story in there. Like Sigurd is like just, oh, we're bringing back Siegmeyer, but he's actually competent, kind of, maybe sometimes when we want him to. Then you get Vinheim. I like the stuff they did with Vinheim. Cool continuation. Great Swamp. I like the stuff they do with Great Swamp because I'm biased towards Izalith. Hawkwood. I like what they did with Hawkwood because he's perhaps the only crestfallen warrior archetype that we've had, archetype I should say, that actually has like a substantial character. Like all the others are very, very, very simple, but this guy, they put a little bit more effort into him. He's still a simple character, but it's miles above what we got in past games. Giant Blacksmith, again, Giant Blacksmith, Andre, the giant in the Irithyll dungeon. I love the lore here, because again, I like how these all little minor things build up on the history and stuff and kind of like tie together. Lautrec, who cares? Like, again, I like Lautrec, but his stuff in Dark Souls 3 is basically just hung around, tragedy, never got to meet up with Fina, becomes Sullivan's dog at some point. Yay. Krimhild, again, small character, cool stuff. I like her a lot. Kamui, lots of potential with this character. Really like a lot. Albert, there's a little bit. There's some stuff to like, but he's a bit flat for my taste. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with his history. Undead Matches, kind of same thing here. Like, there's some interesting stuff here, but I just don't feel like it's enough to really make me care about this, the Grave Tender and the Wolf and stuff. Ring City. God, I love Ring City. Fucking hell. God, Ring City. It's so good. It takes all the stuff from Dark Souls 1 and crystallizes it, like, into just, Like, in many ways, Ring City is like, yes, this was always how it was gonna have to be. Right? It takes all the implications from DS1 and perfectly weaves it while adding some new stuff and fleshing it out. Like, oh, I love it. The only thing I would say is maybe a bit ancillary is the fact that Gwen now has another daughter. But again, there's like, again, it's not really like a problem or anything with this. And I like the characterization they do give Filianor. I think the way they handle her and her absence is actually, you know, it's kind of like the final cherry on top of like, yes, Gwen is the bad guy. No, but lore-wise, are we just not supposed to think much about the crown on his ashes? Yeah, no, Bray. That's exactly it. Yeah, the problem with you know, development and stuff is that there's always going to be like little remnants of things that are just there's no way to rationalize it. And once you realize that, you just have to accept that you can't rationalize it. It's best to just ignore it, right? Like at some point, there's just gonna be stuff. Now again, if you can make sense of it or whatever, and I like actually really make sense of it, like not like go like, you know, crazy stretching to try to like twist everything around in order to make this one thing work and then ruin everything else in the process. I think, again, it's good, go for it. But I think generally speaking, yeah, Lothric's crowd, like, it's just something where it's like, the game doesn't acknowledge it. It's never going to get addressed. There isn't like a natural implication of him going from crownless to having it on here besides the idea of, oh, get it? Because he's a lord, effectively. Like, there's not much there. Most of DS3's horror aspects fall flat when I think about it. Undead Settlement Dungeon. I prefer it when the game goes gore, more conventional depictions of beauty, like Irithel. I don't think, like, again, I don't think horror works in any of these games. Like, I don't think it works in Bloodborne, right? Like, again, it's not to say that, like, the games, I couldn't theoretically see, like, them being terrifying or, like, conceptually, but, like, they're not horror games. They're action RPGs. They might have horror imagery or elements, but, like, again, that horror is built based on, you know, visuals, sound, and atmosphere. You kind of need all three. So, like, again, I would agree with you. They fall flat, but I don't think they're... Like, I don't think they're trying to make it, you know, that horrifying. Maybe a bit unnerving at most, like with Irithel Dungeon. But, like, yeah, I don't think they're going for horror. Outside of, again, that side of intellectual kind of like, oh, wow, this is horrible. Like, you know, like Rosaria stuff is pretty horrifying. But, again, that's more so a, you know, kind of like a, you know, when we go, you know, diving into concepts and talking about abstractions and things. For April 1st, you should update the no layer for the Soraya article with the horror. I don't remember that next one. You prefer Andre as he is, or would you like to have seen them go with DS1 content role? I prefer Andre as he is. I don't think making him Gwen's secret son or descendant or whatever would have been a good idea or interesting with the final game. I am a huge fan of Andre being just a simple blacksmith in Dark Souls 1 with not really much else to him beyond that. Like maybe being like, you know, a famous blacksmith responsible for like the binoculars or something, but that'd be about it. Like, it's not, again, that's not really a character. That's more so like a trait. Like Dark Souls 3, they flesh him out a bit by giving him now more story and history with the rest of the world and kind of weaving it into the plot lines happening there. But he's still just the simple blacksmith at the end of the day. And again, I'm okay with that because I like Andre as just being that personable, simple character. I'll try to delete that crap. I don't know how you could delete a menu graphic. No, Bray. I think it does work in Bloodborne as a way to enhance atmosphere, unlike DS3. I don't think so. I'll be honest. I just don't think the horror works in any of these games. Again, they definitely have atmosphere. I would say that all of them have atmosphere, but I just don't think. I do not. Like I don't go to Undead Settlement. I think horrifying. Like if you tell me, I'm like, oh yeah, there's horrifying aspects to it for sure. But you can say that in all the games. Like Dark Souls 1 also does horror with quote unquote with Seath's Tower and the how are you supposed to say that Indian word? The Skilla. So like with the with those you know, tentacle monstrosities and stuff, like it's obvious in like the music and things like that, but like again, I just don't think these are horror games. They're just fundamentally, they're not designed that way. But then again, I should also say, I'm someone who thinks that adding action to any type of horror game automatically devalues the horror. Like, I love Dead Space, but I don't think it's anything as scary as, say, like, Amnesia, right? I definitely think, again, mileage may vary because horror is something you have to personally engage with, right? It's one of those things where you kind of have to, like, you have to want yourself to get scared to some extent. But, like, yeah, that's how I feel on it. Anyway, back to it, so we can quickly finish this up. Ring City, I love it. It's amazing. It's perfect. It's everything I could have wanted. Shira, again, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's very cheap. You know, Miyazaki does a lot of cheeky things here for those, like, you know, if you know, you know type of stuff. Shira's probably the more blatant examples of that, and I just love her. I love her inclusion, what she adds, like little stuff with her and Midir. Midir. Speaking of Midir, Midir's cool. I hate him as a boss. He's kind of flat as a character, but you can say that about a lot of the dragon bosses and this stuff. But like, yeah, you know, he's cool for what he is. Millwood, again, neat. It's always cool when, you know, that's one of the nice things about Dark Souls 2 is expanding on the wider world, the world building of the world of man and stuff. So it's cool that Millwood is something that gets a little bit of attention. Half-Light, same thing. Again, more Ulasil lore. I always like Ulasil lore. It's really cool how, again, Ring City kind of, you know, ties that all in to the wider history. Leto, again, Leto's kind of neat. I would have preferred it if we had the cut content armor thing with him. I get why they didn't do it in the end, but like it's one of those things where I feel like I just would have liked a little bit more something substantial than just, oh yeah, this is a guy who like knows Havel and is like cool with like big, strong, heavy. You know. I just am elegant and I throw things around for smash. You know, Zully, the Zully, Alva, by extension Carla, stuff, really kind of cool. Not for the reason most people would think, but like just in general, just like how it all ties in, especially with the DLC, right? And finally we got down here. Gale. This one I'm most proud of in terms of it took Acer pissing me off to make this come out before Ari and Dell did. But I do really like it because I feel like Gale is one of those, it's the character that either people kind of love him just because of like Aura Farm and be like, oh, he was the guy that sounds like a cool old man and he like was a really cool boss fight or whatever. Or there's people who like don't like us. It's like, he was just like a kindly old man in a cool boss fight. Like there's nothing else to him, right? And I feel like there's something in between that where like, you know, there's actual character here and it's meaningful and thematic and helps close off the game in at least a broader sense. That it's fair to think of him in some ways as like kind of like the final boss. At the very least, he's the, you know, he's the perfect send-off for the series, I feel like. Spill the beats about Shira. What do you know about her? She's Seath and Guinevere's daughter. So yeah, like that's the quick version. And all the stuff that results from that. Gotta go sleep. Yeah, see you, Nick. I don't want to ever actually be scared. I just like spooky vibes and cool monster designs. For me, horror, again, my favorite genres are horror and romance. So like, for me, like, I just really love good horror games, man. Like, I love that thrill. Two undead fighting at the end of the world for nothing type answer, so someone would say. Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, there's something a bit more meaningful about like Gale and what he represents. You know, how he ties into the Ariandel, you know, plot line and things like that. Again, like as I said before, Miyazaki is not this like crazy like genius writer. Like he tends to have very simple stories, but it's because they're so simple that he's able to tell them the way that he does. And in that simplicity, he's able to get to a very poignant emotional beat that I think even people who don't understand his stories are able to resonate with in many cases, right? Like there's something where you can understand the emotions and the feels when you at least think about it, even if it's not something that you necessarily are comprehending in the moment. But yeah, like I look at like the content I have here for Dark Souls 3 and all the different stuff here, like there's definitely a lot of articles that I wouldn't say that I'm personally invested in to the same degree as others. Obviously I have my biases, especially the villains. Again, Wolnir, Oseros, Aldrich, and Sully are probably who I consider to be like, you know, the top 4 villains of this game. All DSR, you get shoved into the closet. And I think they honestly, these could easily be the top 4 for me in the franchise, ignoring Gwyn. Have to, you know, very important caveat. I just really, really love these 4, but like I love Rosaria as well, and you know she's kind of a villain, but like, you know, she's definitely got kind of like that that I don't know if anti-hero would be the word, but you know there's a lot more to it than just being the villain for her, right? Yeah, like I said, the stuff involving with Lothric is really great. I think the weakest stuff is probably One, I think it's probably when the characters kind of are brought back, but Miyazaki doesn't really have too much to say about them. Like Lautrec. I don't have Shiva here because, you know, he doesn't even warrant his own article because his stuff is so diffused across it. You got, like I said, Undead match. I'll be honest, is there anyone who, like, feels strongly attached to the lore in Undead matches with the Gravetender and the Wolf and stuff like that? Like, let's be honest, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of basic. It's very forgettable. Like I said, maybe it's a hot take, but I think Mound Makers definitely is not there. I feel Covenants in general are kind of underserved in Dark Souls 3. It's just not the same as the older games. Look, when we get in Things Betwixt Altar, we drop at the start of the game analysis. Also, my beloved Elden's Beginning and Blood's Beginning cosmology analyses. I could see myself doing Things Betwixt thing if I didn't already have Second Beginning. Second Beginning already covers all the important stuff that I'd want to talk about in Things Betwixt. Though if I ever came out with an Abyssal Archive 2, I might take some of this stuff from Second Beginning and put it into Things Betwixt as a separate article. Just saying. That might happen. But yeah, Dark Souls 3 I think is definitely undervalued. There's just so much good here, and the problem is you need to understand, well, this isn't representative because it's just like a few, you know, it's a sample. It's a sample. Buy my book. But, like, yeah. With Dark Souls 3's, like, anniversary, like, coming up, like, next year or whatever, it's one of those things where I'm like, damn. Like, this was just a really good, like, this game is so much better than it honestly should be after Dark Souls 2. Uncle Gale, yeah. Fuck it, I'm gonna read the Karian doc. Awesome, Nardi. Anyway, guys, I was just kind of chilling. We got our Deacons of the Deep screenshots, I think, for the most part. That's cool and all. But like I said, this was today, like I said on the Discord, it's just gonna be Deacons and chill today, and we ended up chilling. So I hope you guys appreciated my rambling. Just me wanting to talk about this game, which again, as I said before, I feel like I love a lot more than I probably should, honestly. But yeah, I think we're gonna go back to. I think tomorrow we're gonna go back to Trails. Finally, I wanted to do that kind of today, but I wasn't really feeling it. I think tomorrow we're gonna actually, you know, get back and try to finish the Trails Let's Play. Though that's gonna obviously take me a few episodes with how much I'm taking my time, so it might be a slow burn. But we're probably gonna go through that. I'm sure Elden Ring's DLC will be coming out soonish. So I'm sure after that's done, we'll be able to get that over with. We still have the Halloween stream this month, so that's going to be fun. I have to figure out what game I'm going to be doing. I've heard Silent Hill F is really good. Chronos: The New Dawn, I'm hoping is going to get an update, so I can guarantee there's not going to be any, like, you know, frame drops or, you know, weird crap like that that's really going to annoy me. Loki joined the VC. Maybe later. Got to go play with the dog first. Overall, I think it's going to be an exciting month. So we'll see how things go, but it's going to be chill. We're going to have to probably put this game down for a little bit. But until then, everybody, thank you so much. Love y'all. Peace.